In one lifetime, you'll either be a lucky person or you'll be an unlucky one. I used to be a blessed child and now I'm a praised entrepreneur. I guess that says it all about my lucky status. That is why you can always find me in the casino winning some cash. I know that isn't something to be proud of, but living in Las Vegas, it is almost an unavoidable thing to adopt. So I use my own lucky charm now, and then either on the slot machines or an actual poker game with a genius poker face maker. Surviving in this environment is fairly hard. There are lots of difficult people, and my wife always nags me to move to a healthier city once we've made enough money. The problem is, what enough money means to me and what it means to her are two whole different things. Plus, the point she always raises to prove that we need to move away, that it is a difficult environment and that I can't handle it. I back it up with, if I can handle you, I can handle anybody. And I need to prove that to her, so I try to be overly patient and understanding with whatever kind of people I meet. But one experience proved to me that there is a sky and ground difference between reasonable but difficult people like my wife and difficult without a cause type of people. That day, I was in a natural high after winning a poker game with a customer in the casino I always go to. Next, I headed to the slot machines to try and win some little things. I didn't expect anything big, even though I had been one of those people who are always trying to crack the algorithm and crack into the slot machine system for 3 years now. I've been told that it is nothing worth my time and effort, and I can clearly see how it is not as worth as I had assumed it in the beginning, but I was also such a stubborn person from the inside, so I keep trying, I keep playing. Honestly speaking, I'm a person who believes in the necessity of luck, charisma, chances, and opportunities to succeed in life. But when it comes to betting and gambling, I always seek to cheat the algorithm and find a long-term hustle that would make me win every time for a certain amount of time, or until my technique is uncovered and reached on. It doesn't convince me that the slot machine or gambling table you play on has anything to do with you winning or losing anything, but the man who was beside me surely thinks that it was all the place's fault. You may ask why I made such a conclusion, and I tell you that he was kicking and biting the crap out of the gambling machine when I came to sit and play with the device next to the one getting unfairly assaulted. The fact that he kept doing that every round he lost proved my conclusion further. The day was both good and bad. To make the good things weigh, I needed to win some money and take my wife out for dinner. My startup company has had severe complications and problems earlier in the day, and my wife has heard about it. So I needed to make up for it and please her with something. If not, I knew that the midnight, and the several days to come were going to be full of arguments and frustration on my side. I choose to prevent that by solely concentrating on the game, getting some points, and taking my wife out. "You're doing good. Who taught you to play?" the man asked. It seemed like he decided to watch me play when he finally saw that the mechanism of kicking the device won't work. "Self-taught. My love for the game made me observe things seriously, and I just learned like that," I answered, engaged despite being in a game. I didn't mind talking to the old guy. He seemed like a storage full of the past generation memories, so I thought I would learn a thing or two from him. That was why I openly continued when he started a conversation. "Cool, how long have you been playing?" he proceeded, staring at my screen. I could only see him with half an eye because I was playing, but I knew he was staring. "For a while now," I replied, not going into specifics. I withheld this detail so often because I didn't want people to think that I was addicted. "A while? I've been playing for a while too now." "How much of a while are you saying is your level?" the man pushed. I thought asking lots of questions was commonly what little kids do, and that this man was somehow old, but the truth seemed to be colliding that day. 3 years, I declared, because I hate being nagged and my wife did enough of that. "Oh, so you call yourself an experienced player?" I didn't know if it was a statement or a question, but I agreed and approved for both possibilities by bobbing my head up and down. I don't consider myself a gambling genius, but I am at an expertise level where I could escape ordinary rules and get creative. "I like your confidence." There comes the compliment before the outburst from the man of the night himself. If only the drama had said who he was starring early on, I wouldn't have gotten my reputation into a potential danger. Thanks, I smiled. Now stand up and let me check up the potential of the slot of my buddy, he said, tapping on my shoulder. I would have just stood up and changed him if his words didn't come out as if more in I would have just stood up and changed him if his words didn't come out as more of an order than a question or a request. Excuse me? I want to play in this slot, so leave the spot for me. The words came out of his mouth without shame, without guilt, without a pleading tone or filter. You know slots had nothing to do with your scores, right? I questioned him rather than leaving my spot. Then why won't you give up your machine? I really don't get all those who are considered this generation. I was confused about this. This minute we were talking about places and the next was a whole new agenda revolving around the current generation. Where is your respect gone? Didn't your parents teach you how to obey the elderly? Now stand up, young man, I need this slot. I really didn't have time for this. Though in Vegas the night is always young. My wife wants to be back home before it's 2 past midnight, and I need to be fast if I want to take her out in the first place, so I stayed stationed at my seat and continued to play as the man kept ranting. Look at this guy. He's not even paying attention to what I'm saying. I felt a shake along my shoulders where he had laid his hands on with force. My head quickly bolted up and my fight mood was activated as I stood up looking down at him. What do you want from me, man? I said I need that slot and you need to leave it. The guy was looking so offended as he said this. Fine, okay, you can have it. I stood and planted back on the other seat. The man gave me disrespectful frowns as he took my seat. I was really amazed by his deed. But then again, this was all a bit annoying and offending. Who even does such kinds of things? Being in the 21st century wasn't even a necessity to stop oneself from acting certain ways, but we are in the 21st century and that didn't even stop this man. A little too amazed by such out and forward request and enforcement from a person I would least expect, I started playing all over again on my new slot. His heart and eyes still on me. I played for a little while, still angry from the event of being almost forcefully removed out of my spot. A little bit later, I noticed myself showing a great game strategy and that little lucky charm I talked about when I started showing herself. At the end of it all, I was grinning end to end and returning home with a happy and satisfied wife, at least for the time being. With the same man who took my spot beside me, I gamed to such a lucky win. A jackpot. I won a jackpot right in front of that man. And boy, if the look on his face that I thought it all had to do with the slot isn't priceless. I didn't know what was. Comments. A jackpot. The man must be burning from inside. I hope he didn't create any drama again. I can't even think why a fully grown man will believe outcomes had to do with inanimate objects and materials, but I guess life leaves its own imprint on us in many different ways. Next story. Background. We have 2 bathrooms in our house, which has 3 stages. On the top floor are the bedrooms of my parents and siblings. Mine is on the first floor, where one bathroom is. The other bathroom is downstairs where the kitchen and everything is. Now, my mom always yells at me for using the bathroom right beside my room because she wants to use it, but everyone else in my family can too, except for me. So I use the one downstairs to get ready. Today, my stepdad decided that he needed to use that one because he needed to shower, which he could have done upstairs, and told me I needed to get out of the bathroom ASAP, etc. All of my things are in this bathroom. I couldn't even grab my toothbrush. I admittedly got louder as I tried to tell him, who shushed me as soon as I tried to speak a word, that he could use the bathroom upstairs. He wouldn't listen, but my mom heard me and came downstairs and told me in a quite aggressive voice that I needed to be quiet because I could use the other bathroom. Every time I tried to say something, she told me to shut up. Every time. Then she started threatening me that if I didn't keep my mouth shut, she'd bang my head against the wall, which she'd done in the past and threatened ever since, and that she'd throw me out, which wasn't an option because I'm still in school and I don't have a job. Afterwards, everything I did while making something to eat for me was too loud, even when I was really quiet. She'd sit on the stairs, watch me, and be mad when something was too loud. She said again she'd throw me out and went upstairs saying she hoped I was quieter when she was upstairs, so I again tried to be as quiet as possible. Then I went to my bus stop and she called me demanding where I was and that it was too early and I needed to come back. She always says I go to my bus stop too early and yells at me for talking back that it isn't. I'm just at a loss at this point. I don't have anything to add beyond what others here have already stated, especially since I don't know what resources are available to you in Germany. However, I want you to know and hear that you deserve love. You deserve to be safe. You're worthy of all these things. And here's a mom hug for good measure. ETA. And maybe we can change the recommendation of talk to a counselor or CPS. We should say talk to an adult you trust. Example, teacher, doctor, nurse, counselor, friends, parent, etc. But I would urge you to be brave and reach out. You need to record some of these threats and go to CPS. This is abuse. My mother was awful to us, and even though I love her, there's much of what she did that cannot be forgiven, and so much that she could have gone to jail for. She bashed my little sister after we all left home, and my sis called the police. Sis then completed her schooling in assisted living, where she could be free of my mother's abuse. It was the best thing for her. I wish you a good outcome. Get all of your important documents out of the house as soon as possible. Get a job and open a new bank account only in your name. Prepare to move out and get a safe place to sleep or move to if needed. Talk to the school caretaker or another person you can trust. Whenever you document and record what they're doing to you, because this is abuse. You have to take care of yourself first. You cannot do that in their home. Make it so they can't force you to stay and remain their punching bag. Next story. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate every single person, but I do hate most of the adults I grew up with, and the only people I keep and can't act with is my younger sister, is my younger half-brother, and his father, and my grandfather on the real dad's side. My mom is constantly trying to control my life and how I perceive it. It gets to the point that I can't say anything or she will tell me to think differently. When I left for college, I had everything set up. A job, ways to get to my campus, funds, and a place to live with others to make it cheaper. My mother decided she was going to join me without asking half my stuff into storage, so she had room for her stuff, made me live in a camper trailer for half my semester outside of town, and made me pay money for everything, including a new phone and down payment for an apartment. And when I ran out of funds, she wouldn't let me get a job, saying she would pay for me so I can have fun as a college student. She dumped my stepdad, who was packing our stuff from home to move himself, and my younger brother where we were, and started dating a high school sweetheart a few days before realignment of the relationship. She has since made me quit college and live with her and her boyfriend, helping her with a new child 20 years younger than myself, and I had to move to escape her. My younger brother got terminal cancer, and me and my stepdad did everything to make sure he got through with little stress. I was working cleaning and cooking, taking care of most of the home-style living for them, and stepdad made appointments and made sure everything was paid for. My boyfriend, now husband, gave rides and helped emotionally. Our mother told us his dad was a deadbeat and my brother needed a bean diet from Mexico to get better, and his dad should pay $15,000 to do it, not herself. Never sending money or visiting him or even asking how he was, and eventually he cut all contact with her. I don't blame him. He's better and healthy, thank the Lord. I've since had a child and I was to cut contact, but she would have the whole family bandwagon on me, and I can't do that with the stress of new motherhood and life at the moment. I just wanted to confess I hated her with good reason. Cut her off. Block and remove completely. Anyone who bandwagons, cut them off too. There's going to be a point where you can no longer say my mother made me. You're an adult and now a mother or wife. Stand up for yourself and be prepared to walk away from those that don't suit you. You are in control of your life and should get a therapist to learn to hold yourself more accountable for what you tolerate. Next story. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to do. I can't even do anything. All I was doing was coffee, and my mom is mad that I'm using too much coffee and won't believe that I had no coffee this week. This is ridiculous. I used two spoons of coffee in the filter, 2 small spoons, which is about 3 grams. And I had to show my mom how much I put coffee. My mom said 2 spoons. I told her that's what I always do. She just won't believe me. And now after 5 minutes, she started arguing, and I couldn't hold it in anymore. I cried and just couldn't stand anymore. My mom got even madder and told me I'm not respecting her because I'm mad and sad. And now she hid the coffee. Seriously, I can't even make a damn coffee without peace. I'm just done with my life. Hopefully my dad will say yes to move in with him, but I'm just done. If my dad doesn't want me to live with him, I'm just ending myself. I don't have any other options. I do something and she gets mad. I'm just done for good. I don't know what to do, can't defend myself or walk away. My mom now has to calculate how much coffee I take. I just can't stand this anymore. I just feel hopeless. I feel like I'm falling apart, and even my sister is on my mom's side. I don't even want to drink the coffee anymore because my mom will just calculate how much I drink. I want to give up now. My life is already ruined. It gets worse every day. Therapists don't help either because my mom will just get in the way. There's nothing I can do now. I'm just done. Are you addicted to coffee? Just don't drink coffee or buy your own coffee. But I'm just done. If my dad doesn't want me to live with him, I'm just ending myself. I just feel hopeless. I just feel like I'm falling apart. My life is already ruined. Therapists don't help either. Think there are other issues going on and have little to do with coffee. Why not try a different therapist? OP, if your dad says no, don't end it all. Try saving up some money, and when you get enough, move out of that circus of a place and find a way to get a stable income, or try asking a friend for help. That's all I can think of.